And this is the Cult Doctor going live today. A great show with Gary Schumacher's program last night, Exposing False Prophets. Today we're going to be covering that God is removing false teachers and false prophets. We're going to go through the names of those people. And it's on the same note as what Gary's channel has. Also, last night John Elving was on. It's a great channel, Brother John Elving. Also have, we're rocking here, Earthquake. Uh, Drew Bloom was on last night. Excellent program. Sheep Among Wolves. Joshua Simone Torn Curtain. Revealing Truth. I'm trying to remember them all. I did cover, but great brothers. Okay, the people that the Lord has been removing the last 5-7 years. Matt Chandler. He was removed. Rabbi Zacharias. Now, you might remember him. He's in the Reformed camp and quite respected as an apologist. That apologetics, the theological term, comes from the Greek word, and that's where we get our word apologize. But in the Greek, it doesn't mean apologizing for; it means defending. Robert Morris, megachurch, one of the largest churches in the nation. Turns out he's a pedo. Tony Evans, we never found out why he stepped down, but I like Tony, and even though he didn't reveal what the problem was, he took it upon himself. He didn't get revealed for anything. He said, "Look, I'm going to step down. There's some kind of problem." And his wife had passed away sometime before all this, so you don't know what's going on. Chris Reed, a false prophet, man indulging in certain substances he shouldn't be involved in. Again, false prophets. You'll find that wherever you find false teachers, false prophets, they are almost universally involved in immoral behavior. They go hand in hand. We had Bill Hybels, again, another one. James McDonald. James McDonald wasn't immoral, actually. He was so authoritarian. He was cult-like. He was a cult. And he was removed from his church. And from what I gather, he's starting another one. He's saying, as he always was, he's once again involved in being a dictator. He's totally out of control. And the scriptures tell us we're not supposed to lord it over one another. We're supposed, we're all fellow brothers in the Lord. So, Buxy Carvey, you might not have heard of him, immoral. Carl Lentz, Hillsong, New York, and Brian Houston, the founder of the Hillsong in Australia, both immoral. Once again, immoral. Brian Houston, at one point, was drunk and staggered into some woman's room in a hotel room. Was there for an hour or so. Mike Bickle, turns out for decades, the man was involved with just scores of women, just immoral actions that just, again, unbelievable. Todd Bentley, who all the NAR chief leaders, all the great prophets, who, for prophets, they just didn't seem to see this coming. And the great leaders, this guy was involved in all kind of immoral actions and sending out sexting text on his phones, gay and conventional perversion. He left his first wife, who has handicaps, and took off with one of the women's in the ministry. So again, T.D. Jakes, he's all kind of rumors and things at the Diddy parties. If you're a Christian, you have no business being at a Diddy party. I'm sorry. And he's a modalist, which means he denies the Trinity, which is heresy. You have TBN, and the TBN, this is a little bit older one, the Crouches. Jan Crouch was caught with an affair. Paul Crouch, there was a lawsuit settled that he was a homosexual affair. They were both, by their son, approached for alcoholism. Sad way to end your life. Daystar, you had Joni and Doug and Marcus. Marcus had a 7-year affair. Joni married Doug Weiss, who left his wife for 30 years. He was supposed to be like a marriage guru. And he used to say how great his wife was, but then all of a sudden he sees the money at Daystar, has a chance to leave his wife, who he starts accusing of all kind of crazy stuff, and marries Joni. Well, Joni's dead within a year. Rachel and the rest of them, the organized crime unit there, threw out Doug. So Doug has no wife, and he has no ministry at all now. So the hammer is falling on them. You have Mark Driscoll, who again, just an authoritarian figure. He was removed from his church because he was just abusive. And other people, a lot of these people are sociopaths. If you study psychology, you'll see that a lot of CEOs, generals, pastors can be sociopaths. They rise to the top through authoritarian means. And we had Ted Haggard, just involved in just the most horrendous immoral actions, homosexual actions. It was getting Masur, gay Masur coming over. You had Michael Brown. Now, he was the one person with a proper education. He knew the Hebrew and Greek, biblical Hebrew and Greek. Was a good debater, but again, he was involved in a young lady, and instead of repenting correctly, he's just bounced back into the ministry again. And Eddie Long, he's dead. He was involved in, again, young men, uh, sexual immorality. Greg Lott. Now, here's another sociopath. This guy left his wife. There's a recording out there now of how horrendously she says he treated her. I mean, just horrendous abuse. And it takes up with this other woman. The FBI just raided his house with financial irregularities. Said Osteen and Copeland were involved in pedo activities, but no evidence at all. The man is a sociopath. He's dangerous. Sean Boltz, the false prophet, giving, if you can't see this one coming, he was looking on his phone, checking out your Facebook and your Twitter and everything, Instagram, and drawing information from there, and then using it, saying it's a prophecy. If you, Sean, if you don't have enough memory to memorize it beforehand, then the scam ain't gonna work. You had Chris Hodges of Faith Life Church, Chris Hodges, immoral actions against, but Gary and Brenda Kines of Faith Life Church, again, their son, the big scandal was on staff there. He's going to jail, looks like, for a long time, 30, 40 years. Jeremiah Johnson, another false prophet. And again, he just bounces right back after being caught into the ministry because for some reason, charismatic movement, and I am a biblical continuationist, but a lot now, Jesus said in the last day to be a great apostasy. And 2 Thessalonians 2, and that's what we're seeing right now, a great falling away. People just don't care if they're caught doing these horrible things. It's beyond belief. So Jeremiah Johnson, another social media prophet. Toby and Tommy Aroomi, TB Joshua. Che An he's been caught in some shaky cover-ups. He's the head of the New Apostolic Reformation, the NAR, and he's been caught with some he's just lying through his teeth. He has a number of times where he says, I have never heard of the NAR, the New Apostolic Reformation. Yet, we know he was C.W. Wagner's right-hand man, and Wagner could repeatedly in print and verbally, we have videos, speaking of the New Apostolic Reformation. So that, I want somebody who's a liar. We have Patricia King, another false prophet. Rod Parsley, again, a number of women have accused him of things. Bill Hammond, who's one of the top guys, but he's an extreme NAR person. He believes in the manifest sons of God, which just means they're going to become just the same as Jesus, on the level of Jesus. And he has a bogus Doctor of Divinity degree. Rick Joyner, who has reinstated every false teacher, false prophet, Todd Bentley being one of them, doesn't care how bad things are. He wants to restore Mike Bickle. He's been accused of being a drunk, an alcoholic. Sean Foyt, financial irregularities, the man who, and he just spreads lies about people. Another dangerous. Jimmy Evans, who was supporting Daystar, not because it was right, but he didn't care that they were wrong. He just wanted to keep his position with them and his position of famousness. Charles Brady Boyd, another one, Jamal Bryant. My goodness, this guy he's atrocious. He has no biblical standards at all, immoral and just politically just so far left. And Landon Schott of Mercy Culture. Again, the list is long. Ed and Bob Hartley, false prophets. Ben Johnson. Art Lucier up in Canada. He actually said, now he has all these, he was showing pictures of, and emailing and texting him also to his butt. He had his pants down. And big scandal up there in Canada. He said his daughter died because she left his church. Imagine saying something that horrendous. Again, like I said, sociopaths. Homer and Ben Young. Now, Bill Johnson and Chris Valentine. Now, Chris Valentine had the false Trump prophecies, among others. And Bill Johnson, who said his church, Bethel, I call it Bethel, is a cancer-free zone. Yet his wife died of cancer. He wears glasses. His son has hearing aids. And one of his famous lines is, we're condemned if we can't produce these miracles. Well, you're not producing any miracles. Nobody has a dead raising team, and nobody from the dead has been raised. They tried with Olive, the poor worship leader's daughter, and she did not come back to the dead. It was a shame. We have Joseph C., defends Daystar, numerous false prophecies. Alan D. Dio, again, false prophecies, defends the worst of the worst at Daystar, just correct, because it's where the money is. They just don't care about God. I don't think these people are born again. I don't think they have the Holy Spirit, because when you and I, those of you who are born again, you do something even a little bit off, the Holy Spirit's on top of you. You have to repent. People are continually living in this vileness. I don't know how they can go on. Sam Alberry, again, immoral. Jim and Tammy Faye, what can I say, Bakers? If you remember the Bakers way back, he was caught up with the affairs and his wife, an affair. And now he's back. He calls himself a prophet. He wrote a book, I Was Wrong. He's going to have to write another book, I Was Wrong. The first one was I Was Wrong About the Word of Faith. Now he's involved in the Anagon. It's sad, and he's very old. Celeste, the Master's Voice, again, a false prophet. She wears a towel on her head. It'd be a comedy if it wasn't so sad. Total false prophet. It hates the United States. She is an immigrant. Jonathan Welton, a sexual predator. Kenneth Copeland, again, false prophecy after false prophecy. And sadly, another one. He has a pacemaker. He has hearing aids. His wife has dementia. It's sad, but it's not working. He's another one with that famous video where he says, if you're not healed, could it be that it's you and not God? Well, God doesn't. I believe God heals, but He doesn't heal all the time. And all of us are going to die of the last disease we get. Sorry, nobody gets out alive. And Kenneth Copeland looks demon possessed, but number two, he looks like the Emperor from Star Wars. He's not looking good at 89, just about 99. And Jonathan Welton accused of sexual assault. Sadhu Sundar Selviajah, got it, Indian name. He, again, now a big scandal with sexual immorality. Greg Hagan of Rhema Ministries, the big school that's not accredited for anybody. They don't get a proper education. He's been running around with hookers, numerous affairs. His wife is divorcing him. He said, and it's been going on for 20 years. When she asked him, how many affairs? He said, there's so many I can't even tell you. Brian Simon, a fraud and a liar. He lied through his teeth. First, he said an angel gave me the information about the Passion translation he made. Now he says, oh, no, I didn't. I never said there was an angel. He said in heaven he saw an extra chapter, the Gospel of John. Just unbelievable. Lie after lie about how he did his translation, how he was a translator at one point. He never was. His knowledge of Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic, all questionable. The man is a fraud and a liar. Steve Lawson, another one. He's in the Reformed camp. Calvinist, caught having an affair with a very, very young woman. John MacArthur was never caught in any of these types, but he excommunicated the wife of a husband who is jailed for sex assault now. He was assaulting sexually his children. But John MacArthur told his wife, the wife, to stay with the husband in spite of all this abuse. And to this day, he hasn't come, well, he's dead now. They haven't come back to church and apologized, said we were wrong to excommunicate you, we were wrong to tell you to be with this abuser. It's sad. So, a lot of the Reform movement overlooks these things. And like to say, oh, it's just the charismatic and the Pentecostals, the continuation. That's not true. We already covered him. James Robinson. Now, this disappointed because James was a Baptist at one point, Southern Baptist, and he came into the charismatic movement. And I said, well, that's not too bad. It'd be a continuation. But he had this show almost every day on Daystar or TVN, where they were digging wells, and you were supposed to send as much money to help the poor people in Africa so that they get fresh water. Yet the man is worth tens of millions of dollars. Why do you want my money? Well, you got tens of millions of dollars, and he just died and all that money. Again, it's a fraud. It's sad. Marilyn Hickey, who's deceased, but her daughter, they've all died within months. Many of these people have died. God is bringing down the hammer, revealing them for who they are, or He's taking them home. I'd rather be taken home and retired by the Lord if I start screwing up. I don't need to have that on my resume. Just to continue, the International Fundamentalist Baptists, the Catholic Church, and even the Assemblies of God now, Southern Baptists also, have rampant sex abuse in them. You can just Google that. We're in the last days. The great apostasy is occurring, and it's not just in the charismatic Pentecostal movement. That Justin Peters, I use some material, but him and McCarthy used to say, it's all them. No, the Baptists and the Reformed are just as tainted as everybody else. It's running rampant there. And we have to realize it's not a fact of one specific group, it's what the Bible tells us. It is the great falling away. People like Chris Roseborough, I use some of his material, but he's a Lutheran, and Lutherans are Catholic Church light. I mean, they run around in robes at church. They have statues that they still, which the Bible prohibits in their churches. I'm sorry, but can't go alone. I can't attend a Lutheran church. Plus, Lutheran was a virulent, vicious anti-Semite. Also wanted the authorities to kill the serfs who wanted some freedom. You have Calvin. Calvin ran Geneva as a concentration camp and had people burned at the stake and murdered. That's your Calvinist for you. Calvinists around the world persecuted Baptists and killed them. So let's look at the big picture here. Everybody's hands are dirty. Methodists, Presbyterian denominations have gone off into the LGBTQ agenda, and it's not getting better out there, folks. But what you have to do is, if you're not saved, the Bible tells us everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is your Lord, your King, your boss, and believe in your heart he rose from the dead, you will be saved. If you need prayer, contact me at cultdoctor@netzero.com. Also on Cult Doctor on Facebook, we have prayer groups there. It was good to see you today. I hope you utilize this material. If you have questions, you can also contact me. Have a blessed day.